Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to share with you this week how I got unstuck after a couple weeks of not really knowing where to go next in my business. But before I do that, if this is your first time stopping by, I'm JP. I help Black millennial entrepreneurs get their first $2,000 client, as a consultant using the skills that they already have. In my business, I've been working with a wide range of millennials. So if you have, or if you want to reach out to me, feel free to check out more on my website. But today I wanted to talk to you about how I overcame the steps that I took to overcome being kind of stuck in my business. And for me, being stuck is the feeling of not really knowing which direction to go in, not really, or trying to figure out which way to go without forcing it. Not knowing the steps and looking at too much at one time and trying to go in multiple directions. So that's what being stuck for me is, and that's what it felt like for the past couple weeks. And I wanted to do this video to talk about it, to give you the steps that I took to overcome that feeling of not knowing where to go with my business and kind of feeling lost, so that you can use them as well. So there are going to be four things I want to talk to you about, and these are the things that I did to overcome that. So a little bit of backstory. End of January, I was doing great, one of the best months I've had in my business so far, and had actually accomplished a couple of my goals for the quarter already, and was feeling pretty good about it. But then I kind of realized that, all right, now that I'm moving forward, let's take a look at what I need to do as next steps. And that's when the trouble kind of started for me. I made a list of everything and kind of got overwhelmed by all the different areas I needed to research. But what I always go through when I'm having this issue is I start out thinking that I have to do everything, and then I remind myself, you know what, JP, it's a journey, and it's always going to be steps. So let me give you some of those steps. There are going to be four things that we're going to cover in this video that are going to help you when you're feeling unstuck or sure of which way to go in your business. So the first thing you have to do is really define what it is that you want. Take a time out and really sit back and think, where am I trying to go? And are the things that I'm thinking about doing in my business, are they really going to serve me in the direction that I'm going? Sometimes we run into fear because we don't know which way to go. And that fear is a big, big blocker, because we get lost in the emotions of that fear, because it's that feeling of, oh, I'm going to jump out there and there may be some shame attached to it, or what if this doesn't work? And when you really define what you want, it's a lot easier to figure out how can you get past those fears. So how did I use that in my business? I went ahead and listed everything that I needed to do for the next 2 months. So I just made a list. It was probably about 10 to 20 things. It was a lot. And it was kind of got it out of my head, put it down on paper so I could define it, because it's really hard to figure out which way to go forward if you can't see your vision, if you can't see your goal, and you can't define what it is that you want to do. So the first step to really help you get unstuck is to define what you want, and then kind of just write it down and list it out. So the next thing you need to do, once you have defined what it is that you want, determine what it is that's blocking you. Determine what's stopping you from getting there. And a lot of times it comes back to that fear that we can't get past, or we don't have the correct footing, or that we may be afraid of criticism. I'm going to put out a blog post, I'm going to put out some ads, and what if it's not accepted? What if people don't respond? So determine what it is stopping you. For me, what was stopping me was just thinking I had to do everything at once. I had a list of items to take care of, tasks I need to do, and I was thinking I had to go out there and tackle them all within a week. I really just sat back and said to myself, JP, you know that these things take a while. It's like any other step in your business. It's going to take you time to figure out how to do these things. You're just not taking the first step. So that really helped me calm down and take a step back and say, okay, I know what's stopping me, and I know I can overcome these things because I've done it in the past. The things that I listed, whether it's doing blog posts or upgrading my copy or putting out more content, I've done all of those things in the past. And that really helps you to realize that, no, and I can do these things, and really determine what it is stopping you. So that's number two, determine what is stopping you from reaching what you want. And number three is you need to really own your discomfort. You can't let the fact that you're afraid to move forward or something holding you back you can't let that weaken you. And I know that that can be difficult at times, particularly for me. If I get a setback, I kind of just want to go do something else for a while and not really work on that thing. And that can be fine, but you can't let that discourage you. You have to know that, okay, I'm going to take this step back, but I'm going to hit this thing full throttle once I get back on it. And you have to let that fear actually kind of catapult you forward, knowing that, oh, once I do get past this fear, on the other side of the fear, I'm going to get the rewards that I deserve in my business because I put in that work and I've overcame that fear. And you have to, your opinion, you have to follow that. You have to make sure that what you're doing and the opinions that you have are presenting your business, because you have to have a unique business, and that's what the market wants. And at times, your own voice can be uncomfortable, particularly if you're going against the grain and saying something that people do not believe or do not think to even something that even come across their mind. So you have to own your discomfort and capture that energy and that fear and put it towards, or make it catapult yourself towards that next level in your business. Because the truth is, when we get to number 4, is that you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. There are gonna always be things you don't know. There are those unknown unknowns, and you can't worry about the things that you don't know, because it's always going to be something just like that. And you may feel worry on your journey. We all do. We all have to go through our own paths in life, and that's no different in our business. And there are going to be a number of times where we're uncomfortable. Hey, at one point I was uncomfortable speaking on camera, and only way to get better at those things is just continue to keep doing them, continue to keep putting out content, and just perfecting your craft and getting better. And my issue with being uncomfortable in my business was figuring out what to be or what to work on next. I wanted to make sure it was the right step. I was taking the right taking the right steps to make progress, and not wasting it doing things that didn't matter, focusing on areas of my business that weren't important, and not making sure I'm on the right path. So that's where, for me, a lot of the worry and uncomfortableness comes in from. But just made up a word, uncomfortableness. I don't know if that's real, but honestly, it's just being uncomfortable all the time and just living with it, because it doesn't change in business. There's always going to be some new problem to tackle. You're going to have to talk to new customers. You're going to have to talk to new audiences. So just getting out there and doing it and being yourself is the key to being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So those were the 4 things that I really did, or I do on a regular basis when I get stuck and try to get myself out of that pattern. And really, we're all just thinking, and particularly me, is thinking about the risk. And a lot of times we think it's risky to put ourselves out there. It may be risky to put our ideas out there. Someone may criticize them. Someone may say, oh, your opinion isn't true. You're not going to achieve your goals. You're not going to do other things you're going to say. And, the truth is, it's risky not to do those things. There used to be a time when going to work, going to school, getting a good job, that was the safe thing to do. But as we see today, companies, they continue to lay off employees. They don't necessarily have that same commitment to the employees. So it's risky, at least in my opinion now, to have a job as opposed to going out and securing your own livelihood and your own resources yourself. So it's really rethinking risk in your business, rethinking how risk plays in your life, and using that to catapult you forward to achieve your goals and your dreams. So thanks everybody for stopping by today. I talked about the 4 ways you can help yourself get unstuck in your business. I run a coaching program, and if you're a Black millennial entrepreneur and you need help getting your first 2K client, or you want to scale your business, feel free to drop me a line. Take care, everybody.